You might remember a while ago I asked Google for some inspiration, because Google will offer suggestions, and Google will, along with the algorithm, will, look at my audience and ask the audience, based on your viewing patterns, what you like. And then it will suggest to creators the sorts of videos to make. And some of them are way off mark, but some of them are really, really good. And I really like this one, so I'm going to read it to you. It's called The Unexpected Joy of Unplanned Art. I really love that, The Unexpected Joy of Unplanned Art. And it suggests that I open with an intriguing question. That's my hook. So I'm going to read to you what the hook is, and then we're going to just have a play. All right, so it says here, this is my script, this is what I'm supposed to say. What if the secret to your best art isn't in meticulous planning, but in letting go completely? We've been taught that every masterpiece needs a blueprint, but today we're challenging that idea. Discover the surprising freedom and profound joy that comes from creating art with absolutely no plan. All right, so if ever I start to talk like that, you'll know that it's not Jen talking. It's a teleprompter or an auto thing or a script or something. But the guts of it is really good, isn't it? That whole idea of unplanned art and the joy that we get from spontaneity. Now, I'll link this video for you as well. So the video that I did recently about creating an altered storybook from collage was a really great example of unplanned, spontaneous art. And I wanted to share with you today where that's actually gone. Witness here, it's starting to get more and more chaotic in here. There will be a point where I'll have to stop and do a big cleanup. That's how I operate. I usually start with a fairly organized space, and then I just get more and more involved in what I'm doing and less aware of my surroundings. But then after a while it starts to get really chaotic and I can't find anything, and then I start to get really cross. So I'm reaching the cross end. Okay, so there will be a moment when I have to clear all this away and put things away and start from scratch again. But for now, I thought I'd just bring you over to the desk and show you where that altered storybook has gone, and talk a little bit more about the spontaneity that went into it, and just the pleasure of creating art for art's sake. So let me put my computer over to one side and we'll get started. Just sit here and eat pastry parcels. You're watching the hail. Just lay low, Beatrice. Lay low, my love. So it's the next morning, and it's quite chilly after that big storm. There's still actually ice lying around, especially out the front, but nothing's really damaged, just kind of flattened. And there are a lot of leaves on the ground from the big trees. But other than that, everything's heavily watered. And as I look around, I notice there's even more things starting to blossom and come out. The old lemon trees. Starting to blossom and hopefully fruit. I also noticed that the oyster plant is sending up some big spiky flowers, so that won't be long before it's in flower, which will be lovely. And then it'll die right back. Like, it dies so far back that you think that's it, we'll never see it again. It really doesn't like summer. So the remains of the last lot of bulbs are all flattened. It's time to take the spinach out. It's about to go to seed. We've had such a lot of spinach, we haven't been able to eat it all this year. We'll take that out in the next few days and replace it. We'll take this spinach out in the next few days and replace it with tomatoes, because it's now tomato season. Cats are not very impressed with all the rain. They've been snuggled inside. As you can see, my flinging tendencies, because I am a flinger, have got out of control, and I'm not loving it now. I'm going to have to take some time this morning and clean up mid-project, because I just can't work any longer like this. I can't think straight and I get irritable. But this happens all the time. And what's really weird is it doesn't just happen in art projects. It happens when I'm writing too. Don't ask me how, because writing is comparatively a sort of clean activity. But I get in a mess when I'm writing too. I get research papers and half-written manuscripts and edited things and books that I'm looking at, and you know, all sorts of things. It just and coffee cups, half-drunk cups of tea. It just gets really out of control. And but usually, you know, it's I can live with it for a very long time. But when it comes to art projects, I can't work in the mess for an extended period. I have to get in and clear it all away, repack it into where it's supposed to go, and then start again with a clean slate. So I think I'll hop in this morning and do some tidying up before I get back into the next spread on
altered children's book and have a bit of a talk to you as well. It's Tuesday here and it's Melbourne Cup Day. And for those of you who don't know, we are the only country in the world, I think, that has a public holiday for a horse race. So the Melbourne Cup is being run today in Melbourne, and the whole state of Victoria has a public holiday. But my partner works in a small country town close to here called Kyneton. Kyneton is the only town that doesn't have a public holiday for the Melbourne Cup. Instead, it has tomorrow off. It has a public holiday on Wednesday for the Kyneton Cup. So David had to go to work today, and as he left, he said it's the loneliest Tuesday on the calendar because it's just so quiet, and yet he had to go to work. So I'm having a lovely quiet day, and I will get some tidying up done out here in the studio.
You've got to get up, pussy.
I'm putting away pencils. Harry thinks he's helping me. I'm putting away pencils and paints and all that sort of stuff first so I can get a clear look at what's going on.
Is so important that it shouldn't be determined. So there are supportive spaces available and all of the details are in there. If you are somebody who just hates the idea of subscription and you know completely alive every Friday, you get together. Workshops. Okay, first, no, we're going to be making self-use questions. Get in touch. But until next week. The apples are actually a tiny.
Getting better, getting down to just little offcuts of nothing. Oh, there's a random hat. Can you see that? Still keeping a lot of these little bits because they're actually actual,
They're not just butters.
you know, they're cut out objects or cut out patterns.
So they're
Those of you who collage will know this bowerbird tendency that we have. It's always, you always got to sort of try and keep a check on it. It's the ultimate decluttering. Okay, that can all go.
But somehow I didn't ever put them in the house. So they were and then I did. I know it's it's not very good for my into our life. You know, we spend
Duck outline.
desperately waiting for things to happen, trying to get things to happen. That feeling of you're not it's just the ability to say, even when it comes. And I was in a group program, a group marketing. Interesting thing. And in that, there's lots of people who are wanting to do marketing that are kind of wellness, sort of from, you know, yoga and supplements. I remember looking from back to walk with your pocket bulbs with picked up seed heads or beautiful shells or pieces of cedar. It's
Put away these oracle cards from the other day. In my online community, we had an oracle card reading, which was fun. You know, and just bits and pieces. A scarf that can go up with my.
Great pile of seedlings, so glass that had ended up in
Watercolours, they live on the analogue side of the room. So these are my graphite blocks. I use them mostly when I'm out, so I'll put them back in my backpack.
So this is inspired by that, and I wanted to explore what it is.
There's some old canvases over here. This is, you'll see after, I'll show you, the next spread I did was a seaside spread, so it was kind of inspired by when I was doing the coffee cups. I got so bored I started doing just a basic coffee cup and then putting, you know, some sort of picture on it.
Okay, so it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. I didn't wash the floors. I overestimated. There I go again. I thought, you know, I'll wash the floors, I'll film it all while I do it. Honestly, I don't know why I think I'm a production company. But anyway, this is where we're at now. And, you know, the piece de resistance is always to bring some fresh hail-soaked roses in from the garden. There's a little bit of catnip in there as well. Oh, look, you can see the sky through that window. You can see it's sunny now, and reasonably warm. I don't have any heating on, but it still doesn't know exactly what it's going to do today. But I know what I'm doing now because I have this completed studio vlog and I'm feeling very, very pleased. I must put that camera away too.
Oh my goodness, all right. I don't know, it's just got cold again, and that's the way this spring weather is. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a like and a subscribe and I will love you forever. And if you want to comment, feel free, don't be shy. I love comments, and I love to talk to people. And I'll say thank you to YouTube for inspiring me to make this little video about spontaneous art. And you'll see that you know, I still got in a real mess, even though I had really limited collage pieces. So it really pays to keep a small stash handy. You know, each time you're working, like I've got other stashes, but each time I do a project, I just limit myself, because otherwise it just gets out of control. It also adds cohesion if you're doing like a little storybook like this. If you're drawing from the same elements, it adds cohesion. Even though you might mess around with the colors and stuff, you'll still get some kind of cohesion if you've got a limited supply of pieces. The other thing that I do that I didn't mention that I do love to do is to draw multiple sheets of things. So again, this is a really nice thing to do when you're not particularly high in energy, is just to draw, like I've drawn heaps of peaches and plums on this page, and I'll keep drawing them. I've got pages of pineapples, I've got pages of seagulls, and just simple shape things that are easy to draw, and it's just really restful. And then when you've got supplies of those sorts of things, as you'll see in my spreads, you can add little cryptic pieces to the worlds that you're creating and to the art that you're creating, and just adds that extra layer of playfulness, I guess, and sometimes even absurdity. And you'll see in the seagull one, I've just brought in a random cat, and that's all of a sudden added tension to the spread. So without further ado, I'll turn it around and I'll talk to you about that. And then we will call this a studio vlog and say goodbye. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. We don't have a cover yet. That's always the last thing, and that's always the thing that I find the most challenging with doing projects like this. And I will link to the original video about making one of these books and all the background of what went on here. But for now, I'm just going to go through and show you where I'm at as I've been building up these spreads, adding extra characters and extra elements to the stories, she says, you know, tongue in cheek. But you know, continuing to draw from the same stash of collage pieces, and also continuing to use those fluoro paints and colours that I'm a bit bonkers for. I don't really need to explain. I know that you can just look and see what you want in the spreads. I'm still working on this one, still building it up, but I'm liking where it's going. And again, I'm still using that same sheet of paper. I haven't got it handy, that just happened to have those words and things on it. And as I mentioned before, you know, the pineapples, the multiple things that I've drawn, multiple rabbits, multiple ducks, all the sorts of little things that I like, and adding them on. And yeah, being excited when I had the cleanup to find this gold pen, because I'll be able to use that for some little doodles and bits and bobs as I go through. I like to move backwards and forwards, and having a sleep between you know, never trying to finish anything in one sitting, just coming back to it, with a fresh mind. All right, so this is the seagull spread that I'm doing. So I just had this feel, I had an urge to use some blue. I had this turquoise paint, this bright aqua green it's called, and I was right at the end of the tube. But I used that and I mixed it with the fluoro. Here it is. Having cleaned up, I can get things straight away. How good is that? So yeah, so I used the fluoro and those two colors and just mixed it together and splooshed it across on the gessoed page, and then that put me in the mood for, you know, something beachy, which is why I went to my big
old sketchbook to see where I'd been playing around and what would inspire me, and I found that page of seagulls, so I sat and drew a heap of seagulls, and footage wasn't good enough to put in this video, unfortunately. The table was shaking while I was drawing with, you know, crayons and stuff. And then I had this cat, and the minute I brought that cat in and plonked it on, suddenly a story was appearing. But I didn't want the cat to be demonized, so the cat's just walking on by. The seagull's a bit scared, but the cat's no threat. Okay, it's just walking on by. It's going on out to the end of the pier probably, but the seagull's keeping a close eye. And then this guy over here, something's going to be going on with him. I don't know if you can see there, that's, you know, that gold pen is so lovely. And I had a random little sticker, yeah, and just little bits of stuff that's going to make his page, and they will get some words and stuff as well. So, and you can see Our Lady's head popping up. I just love having stuff popping up on the other side. I need to colour the back of her head. Yeah, so that's where I am, but as you can see, I've still got loads more pages to do and to play with. So I think it was is it a 16-page little children's book? Don't know, but it's going to be fun to complete it. And I hope her neck survives. I might have to reinforce it. Yeah, it's going to be fun to keep working on this and have it there as a playful thing to do. And again, just keep everything as simple as I can so that it doesn't overwhelm me.